Hooray.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, these sure are some great shirts, right, guys?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Love the shirts. Love it.
Which one are you guys?
Revenants.
Okay. What does it look
Well,
like? Oh, it's that symbol.
It's the
Yeah.
symbol. The
yeah.
best class in the game.
Elementalists. We've got two Elementalists and two Revenants. There's no class bias here at all.
Nope.
We're
That's
we're
right.
very balanced. Everything is balanced in the game. But nothing really happened this week, right? There's no announcements.
I don't think so.
I don't recall anything particularly
No.
important, right?
No, I'm just
Well-
waiting for April Fools, I guess.
April Fool's early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess people could only hope at this point.
Now that would be a good prank, actually, if Mike on April 1st says it was just a prank, bro, and then all the legendaries come out.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Jokes. Sorry.
That
It's
would
not
be
real.
really good. But also, they would not do that.
No.
What if they do, though? Oh,
Worst
they
joke
won't.
ever.
Because I mean, there's enough people that are before what happened this week. There was enough people that were in a bad place with the game as it was. That a joke like that, no matter how funny, would not be good for the game. But it's not a joke. And what isn't the joke this week?
That they have
That Boots
indefinitely-
can't shave without cutting his face in 5 different spots. Oh, never mind. Those are just freckles. Sorry.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell because your nose is in the way.
Wow.
Got off to a good start.
Harsh.
Yeah.
So everyone is gonna start with some shit, but that's okay because I'm gonna end this right now because there is actually a blog post that I don't know if you guys saw or not,
Saw.
confirming that we are getting new legendary weapons.
You mean in
Wait, what?
2013? In 2013?
We are getting new legendary weapons.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Let me post this.
Is it this one? Oh, yeah, Guild Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
that one.
yeah,
Of course
yeah,
it's that
yeah,
one.
So I'll go ahead and read this off.
Mm.
Legendary gear and precursors. We aren't quite ready to go into all the details here. But what I can say is you will see a specific way to build precursor items on your way to a legendary.
We got
On
that.
top of all this, you will see new legendary weapons and new types of legendary gear in 2013. Building your precursor will require a large amount of new crafting material rewards listed above, 500 in crafting, and likely a combination of other items earned for completing more specific content in the game. In addition, we'll also improve functionality of legendaries, allowing you to set their stats. We have that, whatever. And so, yeah. So in 2013, we will be getting new legendary weapons and precursor crafting. So I hope you guys are all ready for that because I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. You know what's funny about this blog post? Actually, this is pretty much one of the first videos I ever made about Guild Wars 2 was about that exact blog post. But aren't you guys glad that that's going to happen soon in 2013?
I'm very glad. In 2013, we'll
Yes.
be getting new legendary weapons.
In
The funny
2013.
thing about this blog post is that I think this blog post is what, like, if they could delete this, if they wanted to delete this, they probably wanted to delete this about 2 months after they made it. Because this blog post is where all of the we're not releasing any information started. Like right after this blog post, basically they went under the PR muzzle where they were not allowed to talk about anything that's under development. They have to until it's ready to be shipped, and we hated that. But this is why. This is why they didn't do that anymore. And at the bottom, in like fine print, at the bottom of the blog post, way down, there is where is it? As always, the content above is subject to change as we test and iterate these systems. Like, it's like almost the last line of the entire blog post. They don't try to like, because obviously it's like a hype kind of blog post. They don't try to like,
Clause.
exactly. But I mean, it's obvious. They need, this is true. This is the most true thing about the entire blog post, that line. And anyway, there you go. It's just pretty hilarious.
If by subject to change you mean indefinite suspension, then yes.
Indefinite
I
suspension,
concur.
Exactly.
I'd also like to point out that Nevermore has been in the game like as a previewable code since like it launched almost. It's been in the game for like over 2.5 years, and
Great stat.
Astralaria was in the game for like over a year. And pictures of it were posted before Heart of Thorns ever came out, leaked from Twitter, from D&T, and
Yeah. They had
I mean,
probably already started working on these legendaries in
Like,
2013, before 2013.
yeah,
Sure.
and they got those two out, and then Hope the pistol, which we never saw before. So that really makes me think they probably designed a whole legendary and a whole quest, and then probably already had stuff going for like the other two, and then they got those out, and then they were able to design one.
I don't think they had a quest. I don't think they
I
had
said
any of the
maybe.
precursor
They
making yet.
may not have. I don't know.
No,
But I mean, they've
definitely
gotten
not.
one
Definitely
done
not.
since then, and now they've had to cancel the whole thing.
Mm.
No. I think they had the legendaries under, like, they were starting to make new legendaries, but there's no way they started making quests, because that idea, I believe, for the new quests, basically, so that you get account bound new HOT items, only came into being due to the expansion. The expansion, I don't think, was being worked on back in when this post was made. So they didn't think there was going to be an expansion
No,
back then.
probably not. But they talked about precursor crafting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they
And
talked about
it's-
precursor crafting, but I think that was going to be tied to like the collections idea that they were going to do.
I
But
mean,
I don't
it
even
is
know if they had
now.
collections ideas back then.
That's what it is. It's like 3 sets of collections that are all insane, and also
And imbalanced.
Like, yeah, for coming up with ideas for quests and stuff. Like, you very obviously have a legendary that's designed around a particular theme. So unless I'm an idiot and I just don't understand anything about the game, I would think you would already have something to draw on to make quests around. Like the Colossus and the Juggernaut are huge statues, and that's what you go and do. You find statues and ooze colors.
Mm. Yeah. It is peculiar.
The the whole thing is, we don't exactly know why it's indefinitely suspended, other than they're underproducing for the last 5 months or so, give or take. We have one new legendary coming out with the April patch, spring patch, whatever. We're getting Chumbawamba, the short bow. And we also know from the Ask Me Anything that the mace was somewhere along in production as well. And most of the legendaries have at least been concepted out to some point in form. So, I mean, I guess they could keep a team on. And there's a couple of things I guess they could have done instead of indefinitely suspended it. But, of course, we don't know the inner workings of ArenaNet and how feasible some of these things are. They could keep people on and release the precursors and legendaries like the old ones, have them drop RNG. Not a super fan of that, but if that means never getting them versus getting them that way, I guess that's better than nothing. But I think the real problem here lies in the way that these collections work and how you make, 13 or 18 or whatever the number is, unique collections for each one of these, which, by the way, as we said, are totally imbalanced for each weapon in those crafting gold sync stages. You have great swords that cost 90. You have Zap that costs like 72. Spark is like 65. Like, why don't you just have a database that says 2-handeds cost this much, 1-handeds cost this much? Why is it all over the map? Why are they all inconsistent and different?
I think the reason for that, I might be wrong. I didn't look far into it. I could have probably backchecked this with Spidey, but I'm thinking that it was balanced pre-HOT launch, and then HOT launched, and then the markets kind of fluctuated, making the things that were slightly less expensive than the precursors now more expensive than the precursors.
So, I mean, you're going to tailor each legendary and each one to the current market when you release it.
I think
Because
that's
those
what
markets-
it
can't
is.
imagine that would
I think
have
that's-
ever happened.
If it is, that's terrible. I'm sorry. I'm not an economist, but if you're gonna set like a collection, you're gonna take a snapshot at the time that you create this collection and adjust it previously. ArenaNet doesn't have the resources to go through every 6 months and say, well, it used to be 90, but now it's 120 because economy. Like, you can't do that. It has to be a set one for each one, and they should be balanced around each other, not this one's 90 and this one's 72 and this one's 65 because, hey, this one needs charged lodestones as well. So what? Like, those things, those items should be a static cost for each one. First of all, the whole collection thing is kind of flawed to begin with. And the whole way you make a legendary in Guild Wars 2 is flawed to begin with, because you put all of this work into creating a precursor. With the new collections, you run around the world and you rub statues and you take carvings and you ooze yourself up and jump in a pool or whatever. You do all this stuff, which is cool to an extent, but it doesn't necessarily always tell you anything about the legendary, so there's no real story or real in-depth lore behind any single one of them, and that's just to get the precursor. So you've done all this work, and you've spent hundreds of gold, way more than the trading post, by the way, for the classic ones, or the originals. And now you have a precursor. I have my precursor to the Greatsword or whatever. And now I go take a bunch of other random shit, and I throw it in the Mystic Forge, and I'm legendary! Praise Jesus, everybody, I have the best fucking weapon in the game because I look amazing. How is that legendary? No, you put all of the crafting work and all of the Mystic Forge crap into the precursor, and then you have a journey to make it legendary. It's backwards. It's opposite is the way it should be.
Hey, you still have to defeat the Claw of Jormag to open up that merchant for the 100 icy lodestones that you buy for 100 gold.
That's exciting, man. It's exciting.
It's not legendary to gather a bunch of crap and throw it in the forge and say, here's your legendary weapon from the djinn that is trapped inside LA as a slave, basically.
Yeah, so you think not only did they have to... You think that maybe they could have kept precursor crafting the same, or like kept precursor crafting the way it was, but changed the way legendaries were made.
The legendary journey, once you build the precursor,
so you want to be able to
precursor or getting the precursor, that should be buildable in some form.
And then also,
but once you take the precursor, it should be a journey to make it legendary.
Yeah.
If you look at other MMOs that have legendary weapons, that's generally the way it works. For better or worse, that's kind of the way it works. You take an axe and you go kill 1,000 of something, which is 1,000's ridiculous, but you go kill 1,000 souls to trap it in your legendary fucking axe. That's legendary. Or you have to kill the freaking Lich King or something. That's legendary.
You have to...
Doing world completion and throwing it in the fucking forge with a bunch of Deldrimor steel is not legendary. I'm sorry. It's not. There's nothing legendary about that. I'm sorry.
So basically, have two sources of legendaries then. One way you can just spend your gold and grab it, and one way you have to invest a lot of time into it, right? That would be your ideal solution. Because I actually really like that as well. So
the ideal solution is you build the precursor. You have people do the world completion and the world versus world and all that other whatever to build the precursor. You now have built the precursor. Hallelujah, you have it. Then you go on a journey to make it actually legendary. And that journey should have some significance for each of the weapons. But at the end of the day, none of this really matters because they don't really have the resources or manpower to create rehaul that whole thing. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm talking about is a total rehaul of the whole system. They're not going to do it for the originals because that just doesn't work in the current system. You're going to rip everything off the trading post. You know how many people would be angry about that? It just isn't going to happen.
There goes my money.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why you can't do a system like that, unfortunately. Instead, we have a checklist or a collection of go rub oil on yourself and make 90 Deldrimor steel ingots, and here's your precursor, and then do map completion in Heart of Thorns and whatever else, and here's your legendary. Congratulations.
So you're just not entirely happy with the
whole system.
Even from the start.
We've been waiting from 2013.
But even from the start, you didn't like how you make legendaries then.
I thought the system was always broken, and it's clearly imbalanced. However they balance the system, of this being 90 and this one being 72 and 65 and blah, blah, whatever the numbers are. That has always been in balance from day one. On top of that, you now have a team of six people, right? You have a team of 6 people which are doing various things with modeling and concept design and whatever else. But then you have to go through and you have to make this checklist, which is inconsistent itself. Sometimes the checklist is 6 items. Sometimes it's 15. Sometimes it's 20. Why is it inconsistent? Make it all. You have to do 15 things in step 1. Step 2 is 20 things. Step 3 is 30 things. Why is it inconsistent for every single one? And then you attach some of these things to events that may or may not work, or have to be totally redesigned, or have to be bug fixed constantly, because that's the current problem with a lot of like Nevermore and Hope and etc. is that the event doesn't work properly, or it doesn't, it bugs out, and then half the people can't complete your collection anyway.
Yeah,
it's a mess.
Yeah, you're kind of like throwing a bunch of spaghetti strands to the wall and seeing what sticks. As there's a bunch of problems or issues that can be raised with the precursor casting system as well as the legendary crafting system.
Can you say that phrase? I just want to get it for the record.
Spaghetti
Precursor crafting.
Precursor and legendary.
I mean, realistically here, Inks is very upset.
Yeah,
so I think the
everything.
solution is just to cancel Legendaries altogether.
Good idea.
All legendaries? Just remove them from the game?
Yeah, I mean, Boots,
replace them with
you look
all
like
this.
an economist. Can you tell us what you think?
Who? What? Sorry.
You look like an economist.
Thank
What's
you.
your opinion?
My opinion is that that's not a good idea. I think that there's a lot of issues that go into the development of these things, and a lot of issues that get raised when you want to do things that are easier and make people happy. Okay, so one of your complaints was, why do they have a random number of events for different things? Probably because some of those things that they're making you do are easier than others, and like 15 of one type of event is easier than doing 6 of some other thing. Also, maybe, like, I mean, I don't think that's a huge issue, really. Like, why is that a big problem?
Because I think it creates an inconsistency for each one. So now,
So
when you're trying to design a new legendary weapon, you have to decide, how difficult is this compared to Spark or Zap or Hope, for example? I'm creating a short bow, which is a 2-handed weapon.
right.
How difficult is that compared to Nevermore? Are they equal? Is it balanced?
Right.
Does it have to be?
Why does it have to be?
It doesn't have to be, but that's what you're saying, right? Like, this one is 15 and this one is 20 because, well, they kind of need to be equally difficult to get.
Do they, though? I don't think they do.
I don't think. Yeah, it's like what.
But that's what you were saying, right? The reason that they're 15 and 20,
I was trying to give you.
aren't
I was trying to give you an
equal.
explanation as to why it is, but I don't think it even matters.
So then, I mean, the point is I think that if they mainstream the way that some of these collections work, they cut out some of the clutter work for themselves, rather than having to decide if these are equal or not.
I don't know if they do. I don't know if they do cut out clutter work for them, because if we're talking about tying things to events and creating new events, I think that equalizing everything might make it harder, because then you're going to have to make sure the event you're doing is as easy or as difficult as whatever other event someone else is doing, and it's just going to get even crazier. So I think that let them do whatever the fuck they want, but at the same time, obviously this whole event system is why it got canceled or suspended, because this is taking a lot of time, and
Too
much time, and it's taking too much time probably because I don't know, maybe a lot of people are saying that they're not good at what they're doing, but I don't think that's probably the thing. It's probably that there's spaghetti code involved, And a lot of the events that were programmed early on in the game are not that easy to link things up to anymore. And you might have a great idea of linking this to this and doing this, but there's going to be a huge amount of bugs if you start trying to insert stuff into it. And that's probably what they're encountering. So one idea I've seen on Reddit, and I actually posted on Reddit and had to delete because EggPie told me 5 people already posted it.
Wrecked.
Was instead of completely suspending the release of the precursor crafting or the new legendaries, because obviously they probably have a lot of legendaries already. The image-wise, what they do, their special abilities, special flares, are probably already made. The models are probably already made. But the quests to get them are definitely not.
Right.
So I think that a lot of people are saying, why not just release the legendaries as Mystic Forge recipes, even though, Inks, I know you hate the fact that that these Mystic Forge recipes are just all you have to do to get these legendaries after you get the precursor. And then have the precursor drop as... Okay, the main problem is that these new legendaries, ArenaNet does not want people who don't have the expansion to get. That is the main problem. So the reason why the quest system works is because you get it as an account bound after you do it for the precursor. And then you have an account bound precursor. That's the only way you could get it. You put it in the forge, you get an account bound legendary. Or no, was it? Yeah, it's an account bound legendary.
Even if they change it to an RNG drop, which you're right, I don't love that idea, but it's better than never getting them, I guess, at this point. But even if they change it to an RNG drop, you can't make the legendary without Heart of Thorns.
Yeah,
you have to complete Heart of Thorns maps. So you can't make...
You'll make it an RNG draw. Oh, I guess that makes sense. That works too. Do you have to complete RNG?
Yeah, you have to complete the Heart of Thorns maps to make those legendaries. So you still couldn't make the legendary. You could buy the precursor and have those skins, but you couldn't make the final product without Heart of Thorns.
Yeah, okay, that's not so bad.
Yeah, that seems fine.
I was thinking you'd have to have it as a drop only from HOT mobs, the precursor, and then it's account bound on acquire. Or they could put some sort of code onto it. So, instead of soul bound or account bound, it's jungle bound or something. So when you sell it on the trading post, you could sell it and people who have the expansion can buy it, but only the people who have the expansion can buy it.
No, that doesn't work. The other what they really should do is, it doesn't. I mean, how are you going to determine whether you have the expansion or not? I can't buy this item because I don't have the expansion.
There is a flag on your account.
There is definitely a flag on your account.
There is, but how
do you not know if you have the expansion or not?
That just seems unnecessary to me.
Why?
Because you can't make the legendary anyway. So what does it matter whether you buy the precursor or not?
Because if you buy the precursor, you want to make sure you have the expansion, right?
Well, also, some of the skins for the precursors aren't terrible. Like the greatsword ones are not terrible skins. Honestly, they're pretty decent on their own when they changed them. Obviously, they used to be crap, but now they're actually pretty. Actually, no, even though Dusk was pretty nice, actually.
I think the barrier. I don't know. I think the barrier is still there to stop people from making the legendary, and that should be sufficient enough for them to uphold their end of you have to buy Heart of Thorns if you want this legendary, if you want to access these legendaries.
Okay, fair enough.
The other thing, this is super dirty, but what they could do is if they want to do this way, if they're just like, you know what, we don't have the manpower, we don't have the time to build out these collections properly, we'll take the concept arts and we'll put a couple people on it and we'll flesh those out. And we'll let the precursors drop in patches. So we're going to get short bow, and that'll be a full legendary collection. But here's mace, sword, and whatever, and longbow, and now those drop. And then in 3 months or 6 months, here's 3 more that now drop. And you string players along back into the content to keep them playing, so they keep getting those RNG drops and making new legendaries every couple of months.
Yeah,
and that sounds dirty, I know, and that sucks, but that's kind of what they were doing anyway originally, right? Here's a handful of legendaries every couple of months. and here you go. Now you can come back into the game and you can look at it and make a new legendary if you like them.
The whole
And this gets
problem,
people back into Heart of Thorns maps.
No, wrong. The
Here
entire
we go.
problem with Guild Wars 2 to begin with. Skype is trolling me now. So, Guild Wars 2, we started off with there's no subscription fee. You can play the game whenever you want, and you can take a break. And that was literally, looking back at that now, that was an excuse because they knew the people that were developing the game were idiots and that this was going to happen. So they used that as a selling point. That's very sad. That is disgustingly pathetic. But now we get to see that's all come out. And we get to see stuff like back in 2013, they were working on precursor crafting, and they were working on the legendaries, and now it's 3 years later, and they've had to cancel that project because apparently 3 years isn't enough time for them to have realized it doesn't even matter, we broke everything from the start, and it's irreparable. We can't fix it now. And we'll never be able to. Now they're just realizing that. And now they're trying to fix it all. And now they've released an expansion. We're not getting Living World until July. The story was terrible. The people that wrote it were probably high school students in theater class taking British literature, reading about Lord Byron's Clubfoot. So that's why they developed Timey. It all makes sense now. I mean, like, seriously? I don't know how to describe any of this stuff anymore because every time I try to make sense of this game and the developers working on it, it scares me to death that there are people out there in the world getting paid money to do this shit. I don't know what to say anymore. I literally can't defend it. I can't tell people that Guild Wars 2 is a good game because shit like this is going to happen. And if people come to play the game and this is what they get, they pay for an expansion and ArenaNet says, oops, we can't do it. Sorry, it's canceled. What?
Why do you have so much salt?
I'm not salty.
No.
I'm disappointed.
The boot spur.
Yeah.
Boots, whatever. People were asking me why I was quiet in Twitch chat earlier, and that's because my entire point is that ArenaNet doesn't know what the hell they're doing, and 3 other people are discussing the game's broken, how do we fix it? This is a problem, there are 15 steps on this weapon and 5 steps on this one. I didn't have to speak to make a point. Now I'm just honestly insulting ArenaNet because there's nothing else to do. There aren't even points to make anymore. ArenaNet has made all the points I could possibly have ever made by just making forum posts and not being able to do anything. So I've run out of stuff to talk about, honestly.
I also think the timing of this news is pretty poor.
With Colin.
Well, not just with Colin, but you've got an April patch that's going to launch in a couple weeks. And that's going to bring, who knows exactly what, but basically polish to the game. You're going to polish Heart of Thorns stuff. You're going to supposedly fix cost of scribing and a bunch of other stuff. Release that content. Release those fixes. Do a live stream where you say, this is the new short bow. Look how cool Chumbawamba looks. And it's freaking awesome, right? Give players a bunch of good news and then soften the blow with this bad news of unfortunately, we have to infinitely suspend crafting because of this.
Yeah, so I agree with you, but at the same time, don't you agree that you like getting straight news?
Sure, you're still getting straight news, but you've delayed it by 2 weeks. Nothing would have changed in 2 weeks other than you're giving players actually some good news to go along with this heaping pile of bad news.
I don't think there's any good news left at this point, realistically. I'm another thing, I am not mad at all that they are being direct and that they're actually talking to us now.
No, that's a good thing.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Except, I don't know. It's nice because now we don't have to speculate about disappointment anymore. We can hear directly that it's coming. And I don't know. I don't know what to say. If they just Colin told us in 2013, look, the game was developed for something, and then suddenly we decided we wanted to make the best MMO of all time, but it was written in Guild Wars 1 legacy code and no one knows how to work with it anymore. We can't do any of this, so, just play the game and have fun. Here's Living World, where you run up and down a path and interact with signposts for a while, and we're going to introduce these new characters. One role plays as a furry and has a short bow and a little pet spider, and the other one is this big Norn having an identity crisis. So here you go, enjoy the game.
Mommy issues. Who's now dead.
It's for sure the fact that, honestly, if they delivered a whole bunch of other stuff that they said they were going to deliver from Heart of Thorns, then if you say, well, we're gonna have to wait with the legendaries a little bit, then it's kind of, no big deal. Heart of Thorns,
it's still a big deal, but players
not as bad.
They're not outside ArenaNet right now trying to burn the freaking building down because they're that upset. Yeah, you got to soften the blow a little bit. I mean, if people are gonna laugh in chat, but if SAB comes back with April, if the legendary fractal back piece finally comes out, I mean, that's all at least good news for a number of players at least.
It's too late.
Is it too late?
Yeah.
For certain things,
so
is it too late?
That's another thing. This is a perfect example. SAB was developed to work with one engine, and then they thought, let's make gliding. This is a great idea. It's going to break the entire game. It's going to ruin the game engine, but we'll just rebuild the game engine. It's fine. This is a wonderful idea. Let's do it. What?
No, Legendary Armor isn't cancelled.
No,
Legendary Armor is not cancelled. No, that collection's already done. The collection's already done. So
they told us it wasn't going to be canceled, but they also told us they were making new Legendary weapons and they were going to come out in 2013. So we'll see. Legendary Armor is not like I can't grab it yet and put it on my character. So we don't know.
That's true.
I mean, someone brought up Ruby in chat about how this is my favorite item in the game. Happy face, happy face, happy face. Like, when you have a host on your official Guild Wars 2 stream every Friday that looks like she's about to have a panic attack every 10 seconds because she's just grasping at stuff to talk about, that's sad. The game, it's sad. It's sad. I'm not saying anything because I hate Ruby. It's just that whole shit when you have to bring on sound designers to talk about squeezing milk cartons and, what?
I'm a sap. I love that crap. I love how they make sounds with rubbing on whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, actually. You don't think? Maybe not even a little bit. Is the salt too much right now?
I like it. I like it. I was wondering what he was rubbing on.
Well, it's like, hey, we have this base. Isn't it beautiful? We don't actually play it. We rub the wood a particular way, and that's dinosaur sound. It's cool. I don't know. Rub the wood, yeah. Polish the wood. But anyway, all that being said, I think that this transparency is a good thing. We definitely have needed this for a long time. It's just sometimes when you're transparent, you're going to get news you don't like. And I think there was a better way and time to deliver that news than the way it was done.
Let's go in full speculation mode right now, okay? Would you rather, let's say, we now know we got this news now. After a long content drought, nobody's really happy, more bad news, okay? Do you think that this would have been the right time to do it? Or after something really good comes?
I think
after something really good comes.
I say the opposite. I think before something really good comes.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you do it after something really good comes, it'll be like they released this thing or they added this thing just to like it'll be up and then down again.
I think it's a certain threshold.
But if you do down and then up again, you're back up afterwards.
Boots is completely right, because the way this community works, which is honestly probably part of the problem, Colin Johansson probably still goes to sleep at night and wakes up in a cold sweat thinking about how he just got grilled by Reddit all the time because Reddit is run by 12-year-olds. So, I mean, the correct way to go about giving stuff out to this community is to say, look, guys, I'm sorry, but we had to sacrifice Roy Kronacker in the middle of a room in a blood ritual because we can't finish the expansion.
Poor Roy.
But here,
Jesus.
3 weeks later, we'll put the bunny ears in the gym store, and then you'll forget about it. It's fine. That's how you handle the Guild Wars 2 community, and it is just, it's insane. Like,
Yep. I think that's part of the problem, though.
and it's insane because ArenaNet just has run out of steam. Like, the train has come off of the train came off the tracks in like 2012 when they figured out, oh my god, people are exploiting over invisible walls and through the ground to do dungeons. We didn't ever plan for that because our QA team sits around and pulls prizes out of a Cracker Jacks bag all day. That's all they do. And even still, you can go underwater, you can kill Veil Guardian and Gorseval and Sabbatha by yourself with an underwater weapon.
Huh. That's pretty funny.
You can kill Veil Guardian with an underwater weapon?
You can pull Zane out of the room in the prison camp and completely break him. You can stand on rocks and fight Slothazor, and he'll just sit there and punch into the ground. What?
But they had a bunch of guilds they brought in to test that stuff as well.
This really does
And
confuse
the guilds
me.
they brought in shared strategies with everyone, went into Super Adventure Box and bragged about it.
You think they need to be monitored? They need to be monitored when they do their thing?
I don't know what the answer is because ArenaNet doesn't know what the answer is. And they're just probably trying things at this point. And if it doesn't work, they just try something else. So I really couldn't tell you. I don't know. I don't know.
Frankly, raids are the thing I'm least concerned about.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about raids at all.
I just
Honestly,
don't care about this anymore.
But think about it. As Guild Wars 2 is crashing and burning around it, the raid team is going to be there just in the eye of the storm, just chilling out, going, oh, well, at least we made our 3 raid wings actually on schedule, right?
Yeah.
They're doing great.
I made a tweet that was just replace the 6-man legendary team with the 6-man raid team, and we'll be done in a month. But that was more me showing you, well, trying to say that the raid team's so fucking good, because even with all of this, they're like.
Well, yeah, and thinking about it, they've made some really great skins as well. They're not perhaps not legendary, but honestly, Matthias' staff is borderline legendary. It's because it's got a trail effect, it's got animated thingies, and it's got a sound effect when you swing it. If I recall correctly, it kind of goes whoom. Oh, that's gonna be on Plenix's meme time now. But yeah, so that staff is easily one of the best staff skins in the game, for sure.
Great stuff.
I've been thinking a lot about the raids, and the raids, we've had blog posts about this and streams, and Spirit Vale is based off of a map that was pretty much already designed and then canned and whatever, and they reworked a little bit and fleshed out the environment, and then boom, we got a map. And most of the story content is stuff that's already based on stuff that happened in Guild Wars 1. They just came up with some new stuff and wrote around it. So I have to wonder how much work was actually required. Like, Slothosaur was a boss that was already designed, but just a little bit differently. And then they implemented it. So, like, I don't know how much work actually went into that. I wonder if it's a case of raids are coming out and raids are successful, I guess, and people are putting the raid team up on a pedestal and think they're doing a whole lot more than they actually are. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that they're just like knocking shit out, and someone said you have a free pass. There's no bureaucracy. Just get it done. That's what they're doing. I don't know, but you have 6 people working on the legendary team, and I guess they've been doing that since 2013, and it still isn't finished. And now I don't know. I don't know.
The question I would ask, and the answer that we're probably never going to get, is how large was the team that retrofitted the original Legendaries and the 3 new Legendaries for Heart of Thorns? Because that took them about a year, give or take. Was it 6 people? I somehow doubt it was 6 people. It was probably much larger than that. So if it took you a year to make 22 or 23 legendaries, then how did you think you were going to make 16 more in a time frame with only 6 people? Like, do you know what I mean?
I think like this is complete speculation, but I think that probably the team that made the precursor crafting for all the old legendaries started thinking about it after that blog post in 2013. Started thinking about what they could do, and it's probably the same team the whole way along. Did all the precursor crafting for all the original legendaries and is doing new legendaries with the precursor crafting for that. I was watching just before this. I was sort of skimming through RPG Shack's what's it called video. He just put one out like 15 minutes ago, and one of the points he raised was that from all the other precursor crafting, you basically you go through a lot. If you do all of those precursor crafting quests, you go through a lot of the world already. So any new stuff coming out, it's going to be hard to make new things that don't touch back on stuff that's already done in another precursor. So
a lot of them overlap.
Exactly. So
there's a lot of overlap already, for sure.
So exactly. So that might be an issue as well. Like for all the new stuff, it's going to be hard to make it interesting still without it just repeating over and over again. So maybe that's an issue that they're currently considering too. Like maybe they just didn't realize they don't have as much stuff in Guild Wars 2 as they thought they did to touch upon for these precursor crafting quests.
I think the original team that did this for Heart of Thorns when they were developing that expansion was much larger than it is or was currently. And then those people got moved on to other projects, to Living World stuff, to the 70 developers that's working on the next expansion and so forth. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not overly happy with the decision, but with the amount of work that we're seeing coming out with this short bow in the last 5 months or 4 months, however long it's been that they've been working on this short bow, and granted, there's a lot of other steps they've done to other legendaries that we just haven't seen and don't know about that'll get put on a shelf somewhere for a rainy day, maybe, if we're lucky. But Mike O'Brien, as the president, as the game director, said, look, this just isn't happening fast enough. This just isn't working. So rather than keep tolling on and have you work on this for another year and have very little production, let me utilize you better somewhere else.
I mean, probably another issue is that maybe some of the stuff that they're introducing into the game, maybe some of the stuff they're doing precursor quests for will be changed in the future with Living Story and Living World. Like, things they have to make sure it never gets changed. Otherwise, they're going to have to redo all of the precursor quests, right?
Yeah.
So that is a big issue. Maybe that's another issue they're running into. Maybe they're trying to do a Living World, and they're like, what can we touch and what can't we touch? And then they realize that if they do more precursor quests for 10 other legendary weapons, they're going to not be able to touch anything for Living World anymore.
I don't know.
That's actually a pretty solid point, actually, I think.
The fact is, we've had a content drought for a while now. Players are screaming at the bit for Living World Season 3. And, taking these 6 people off won't have an immediate impact on that. That's still going to release when it releases. But because these things are long planned out, like months ahead of time, I guess the hope is, or the feeling is that you'll get other parts of Living World or Living World events or, content. You'll get that faster down the road later in the year. The first one really isn't going to change. You've just moved these 6 people off. I mean, it's not going to happen any faster. That's on its given timetable as we speak. But maybe the next Living World patch or the one after that, these people can make an impact there rather than work for another 6 months and come up with Mace or something.
Mm. Yeah, I'm sure this team is not incompetent. I'm sure that there is a lot of other stuff that they've done for these legendaries, but just isn't talked about and won't be released for a long time. And the fact that they are being moved to the Living World shows that they're needed there, I hope. Otherwise, why is it being
Need that,
done?
need that content.
Yeah.
It better be
Content.
good. I think.
Well,
no,
first
I
of
mean-
all, that's a disaster waiting to happen too.
Mm,
People, you're already,
better
you know,
be good.
the community is already piling wood up on the train tracks as the train approaches for Living World Season 3, because as someone made a post on Reddit that is kind of like directly supports, you know, what the community now expects, right? He said something like, it better be Oscar winning, it better cure cancer, feed children in poor countries, and do all this other amazing stuff. And it's already overhyped, and it's not even close to being here yet. So there's no way that Living World Season 3 can live up to the expectations now set by the community. It can't. There's
True.
no way.
True. I agree.
I don't think that's the. I don't think that's what was meant by it. I think what was meant by it is it was a blatant, outrageous overreaction, like everything that I do. And if people take it, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
like
did
when
not
you say
take
my
it
nose
as
is big, that's a
overhyping.
blatant, outrageous overreaction.
I mean, yeah, like, I mean, your nose is small when you compare it to things like nose pass
Like
and
your belly.
pass.
Oh!
I'm a 300-pound fat internet troll. Look at that. That's how little I care about anything anymore. That's gonna be a gift to whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
I liked it. That was
Oh,
good.
That was good. 10 out of 10.
Like,
He's jolly.
I don't fucking know like what to say about ArenaNet. I'm repeating all of this over again. I'm repeating. I don't know. It feels like when you watch those old cartoons and there's like some guy riding on a model train, just putting down the track in front of it as he goes, because it's just like, okay, what's happening? What do we do next? What do we do? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I doubt Living Story 3 is going to be soul crushing, probably for everyone that plays the game and is excited for it to come. Because they've just never delivered on story. I don't think it's ever been good.
Honestly, I think actually it will be okay as long as there's a massive amount of content. If there's a small amount of content, relatively speaking, I think I don't see how they can recover from that. And I say that I'm actually sad because
Do you really think
It
the
could be a
story is going to
disaster.
be any longer? Do you really think Living World 3 story is going to be any longer than Heart of Thorns story?
oh no, it has to be. If it isn't, that's a
I
genuine
don't think it is.
disaster. If
I
it's
don't think
shorter,
it's season 3. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a season. It's
it's
not
got to
a.
be equal or longer.
It
Otherwise,
might,
that,
I'd say it's probably going to be
Realize-
equal. Yeah.
Equal.
Season 2,
Maybe
of the-
equal. I don't think it's going to be longer.
Season 1 and Season 2 of the Living Story, it's not a lot of content. It's nowhere close to a lot of content. It was stuff spread out over time to look like it was a lot of content. In the same way that Heart of Thorns is not a lot of content, but it's hidden behind masteries and behind map currency to look like it's a lot of content. It's not.
Well, the difference between season 1 and season 2 of The Living World is they had a lot of season 1 saved up before they released the game. So, yeah. So not only did they have the story, and the other things they released in that time were the seasonal events, some new maps. They released what's it called? South Sun Cove. They released a lot of new maps for Halloween. For that map that you go up. What's it called again? With the glider, not the gliders, with the
Kite City.
the Zephyrs. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they had a lot of that probably already saved up before the game released, and then they knew that they were going to keep some of those things, Halloween, Winter, the Zephyrite stuff, and release it year after year, so they don't have to make quite as much stuff and can concentrate on the story because they don't have it saved up anymore. So then they had the expansion. So they spent an entire year working on the expansion, and
At least.
and then Teapot, you assume that since they had so much time, they're going to be right away ready to release a stockpile of Living World stuff.
Yeah, I was not being I genuinely thought that they actually
I
had
know.
some of it ready. I genuinely thought they
I
had
did
some of
as
it
well.
ready.
And I said, I hope you're right, but probably not.
I did as well. I really, like Teapot, I thought that at least some of it, at least the beginning part, was probably partially worked on for Living World Season 3, and this would give them lead time to work on the other stuff.
Exactly.
But that doesn't seem to have been the
take a
case.
guess, honestly, I think what they did is they wrote all of the story out on a dry erase board, and then the cleaning crew just came in and cleaned it off, because that's probably the level of competence that's like going around at ArenaNet. Like I don't have any other words. It's mind blowing. Like this is the running theme of this podcast today. I just don't know what to say anymore. It's hard for me to be anything other than a cynical, brutal executioner carrying around the new legendary greatsword that doesn't exist, just cutting everything to pieces. So, I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
So do you need more transparency? Do you need them to make a statement on what they actually did? With regard, so exactly how much they have done on legendary weapons, for example. Do you want that? Would that be?
They would
good?
never do that, though.
But suppose they did though, because this is a new start. We've got new,
Makes it worse.
We're under new.
That
would
then
be
new demands would be made of them. They'll say like, "Well, why don't you just do this?" And we are doing that right now with little information. So
Exactly.
we're making these claims. We're making these claims with no knowledge of what they have, and under our boisterous nature, we know that we have no idea what they're going through. So what we're saying could be completely false. But if they tell us too much information, these like accusations will become demands, and
like,
it's just going to go downhill from there.
Exactly. When they tell us that, sorry guys, we have 200 people working on the game, but 150 of them are actually people from the Make-A-Wish Foundation living out their last wishes, working on the game. Like, that's when they say that, like, it's over. Like, it's done. It's done.
What the hell?
How are you going to recover from that?
I don't know how I can recover from that comment.
Wow, that is a bit of a savage today. Wow, there's some Ellie giggles in chat.
Yeah.
You're on fire, Brazil.
I think it could be damaging for a couple reasons. You're going to see that the mace is like almost there or something, or you're going to see this one is 50% done, and you're going to say, "Just finish it, ArenaNet. Just finish it. Why are you cutting off?"
That's what I'm trying to say.
So, like, yeah, they would never. I mean, they would never do that. And if they did do it, I think it would actually just cause more problems than,
Yeah.
make people happy.
I didn't say Special Olympics because I actually used to volunteer for the Special Olympics. And there's some level of empathy there. I did, actually. I had a friend. I still have a friend. His brother has Down syndrome, and I used to help him with Special Olympics and other stuff, whatever.
Huh.
Nice.
I mean, I brought up underneath all of this hate and fat, there is a person soul.
Brazil is a very good guy. You just have to get to know him.
Yeah. He's like an onion. He has multiple layers.
Yeah,
Layers and layers.
It's like an onion.
You got to peel off the layers to get to the soft, gooey individual that is Brazil.
Yeah.
But
this is something ArenaNet doesn't have, because there's one very thin layer. When you peel it off, there's just nothing anymore. So, whatever.
Yeah.
Wow.
So based on the fact that we got this information now, and my idea from before that they're going to say bad news before good news rather than the other way around, and the fact that I don't think Living World Season 3 is going to be cancer curing, what do you think's coming in between
I think it's
now and
going to
then?
probably develop a new strain of cancer that we're going to get. So,
Timeitis.
anyways, yeah.
Between now and then, what do you think is coming out that will make us excited?
I mean, we'll probably get some more lanyards at some conventions.
You're going to a convention?
I like my lanyard,
I think
I like my shirt.
wherever it is.
I think a big problem here is that this is probably the first thing that a lot of the community is properly disenfranchised with. Whereas before, it's just kind of a bunch of people, baby raging, throwing their toys out the pram, and they go, oh, well, they'll fix it eventually. But this is something that is probably going to do permanent damage.
This is very similar to one other thing that happened several years ago, which is the infinite.
Yeah, when they started
continue coin,
developing Guild Wars 2.
which is the infinite continue coin. Because back when they didn't know when SAB was going to come out again, they said it's not going to come out in the foreseeable future. We're not really working on it. A lot of people got really upset about the infinite because it was sold to them like SAB was coming out often, just like people are saying the HOT was sold to them because they thought Legendaries were coming with it. So this is very similar. And actually, it's kind of interesting that it's similar in the way that we got information. Actually, no. One was with SAB, we never got information about it. But hey, with this, we got information.
At least you got to use the infinite continue coin. Right?
Fair enough.
I mean, that's the wood and potatoes argument, isn't it? At least you got to use it for a while, so you got your money's worth. Same thing with those karmic infusions.
Well, I mean, I would definitely say I've got my money's worth out of HOT, for sure.
I mean,
I too.
No question.
I have as
well, no
as
question.
much shit as I'm talking, I've enjoyed it a lot. And I've had a lot of experiences because I get to come on this show and talk about stuff and hang out with people and stream with MightyTeapot and write copy pastas for Discord. Like, sure, I've gotten money out of it. It's been enjoyable. But at the same time, like, I don't know. It's just like someone's just constantly pushing a button or turning a switch, making me go back and forth from hating it and loving it.
Sure. Well, no, it's only because you care. It's because you care, Brazil.
I mean, yeah,
and
realistically,
you're disappointed, aren't you? Because you're disappointed because you see the potential in Guild Wars 2, what it has, what it could be.
Exactly.
And then when this sort of stuff happens, it's sad. It's sad, isn't it?
It's disheartening when it doesn't matter what game or what MMO you play, when you're involved with a community, with a group of friends, or you just care about the game in general. It's disheartening to see so many other people dissatisfied with the game that you enjoy or the game that you want to love. You want other people to enjoy and love it as well. And when bad decisions or poor decisions are made or bad news is delivered and people get, sometimes rightfully so, disenchanted with the game, it hurts.
It's just so funny.
It's like, what are you doing? Why are you killing my game?
It's just so funny
they're not
because
killing the game, but
how many people do you think, out of all the people who play Guild Wars 2, actually know anything about this news, percentage-wise?
That's a very good point. Because whenever the Fine brothers decided to commit suicide, probably 5% of their audience knew about it or cared. And everyone else just continued watching their videos and probably thought, why does this have so many dislikes?
How many people go to the forum out of the population?
You're 100% right.
How many people go to Reddit? Not that many. It's 1,000 upvotes. That's 1,000 people. 1,000 people, but they are the most intense Guild Wars 2 players. But it's still
vocal, for sure.
Vocal, but it's maybe 3,000 out of all the people who play Guild Wars 2 know about this. So, although there's a huge backlash in the internet, it's a huge backlash. I have friends that I got to play the game. They play the game, they enjoy it. I had to tell them about this, and they're like, "Oh, that's too bad," but it's not so bad. I'm probably not going to make Legendaries anyway. I'm not quite there yet. I mean,
my wife is kind of the same way. She's obviously super casual, doesn't really follow the news of Guild Wars 2 that much, still plays and enjoys the game for the most part, even though Heart of Thorns is a pretty big letdown for the type of player she is. But she says, why is Reddit upset today? And I say, well, they canceled Legendaries. And she's like, oh, well, that sucks. It's just like, whatever, move on.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
big deal.
And then, so when I brought it up, they're just like, okay, I mean, I guess that's kind of bad, but they're probably working on something big to make up for it. And yeah, probably they are.
They're going to try. They're going to try to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is Magical Mike has just said what we're kind of skirting around here is it's the precedent that's the problem here, isn't it? I actually
Yeah.
don't
Sure.
particularly care about legendary weapons as such. I'm not. I can live without it. Honestly, I could live without Incinerator. If it wasn't in the game, I kind of go, well, okay, that's fine. But
Yeah.
it's the fact that something that was supposed to be in the game isn't in the game, and probably never will be, or not for a very long time.
Yeah. You could argue semantics and say they never actually said there's going to be a full set right away. But
No,
you know,
they did say
was
it would be released out in small batches.
incrementally. They never gave a timeline for it though. So like,
No. Yeah, no.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they don't have to do it, I guess, but it is kind of poor form, very poor form.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean,
Obviously, I'm not happy with the decision. I think it's from my player perspective, from a fan perspective, I think it's a poor decision, and I'm obviously not happy with it. If I'm going to armchair dev, which is kind of what we do on the show every week, if I'm going to armchair dev, if I put myself in Mike O'Brien's shoes and I look at their productivity as a team and where other areas of the game need help and work, I think it's probably a good decision in the long run, unfortunately. As sad as that is, I think it's probably a good decision in the long run.
When he made the announcement, hey, what's that?
Frankazy! Frankazy! Where's Zach?
When he made the announcement, I want to find the announcement because I want to know exactly what he said about what they're going to be doing instead.
Said they would be on Living World
quests and
content or
content.
something.
Yeah, so I don't think that's even living story. I think that's stuff in the game, quests and etc. Not stuff coming up, like just you know how they said they were going to continuously add dynamic events to the game subtly and nobody really know.
Well, they went back on that years ago and said that people didn't notice, so they didn't really bother anymore.
Yeah, I think they're going to do that, but tell us about it. So
I hope so. I guess.
Yeah. But so the question is like, I guess maybe it is Living World that they're going to be working on instead. Because otherwise, why would they think that that's so important right now?
I mean, the game, Heart of Thorns itself needs a lot of polish and rework from what launched. Right? It was there's a lot of things wrong with how the events work, how much it's on tracks. Every map is a meta event kind of thing, and I don't know. There's a lot of polish that's going to be done. Rebalancing of making you grind less for some of those rewards, hopefully.
Yeah.
Making adventures more accessible, because I absolutely hate the current system.
My guess is, I mean, the only reason they would take them off Legendaries, because if they still have the team working on Legendaries, they could at least say there's people still working on it, and then there's no outcry. The only reason they take them off is because they're desperately needed somewhere else. And where is that?
I don't know if that's totally true. I sort of think it's like, yes, we do need more people doing this, and this isn't overly productive for us. So we need to move people where they're going to be more productive and more effective, because this current system we have with 5 or 6 people just isn't producing very much.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So it's either actually it's three possibilities. It's that what you just said. It's they desperately need somebody somewhere else, or they discovered a problem in what they're doing, and that'll affect the future of the game, and they can't do it anymore.
Realistically, it's like Kanye West's rap career at this point.
Oh, poor guy. Eh? He's $50 billion in debt. He needs the money bad.
Yeah, and we're 50 million legendaries and plot devices in debt.
Is he 50 million or 50 billion?
I don't know.
50 billion? That would be a lot.
He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that has any idea what he's doing and doesn't plan. And when I think about that, he should probably work for ANET.
Work for ANET. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Hmm.
Mm.
It could just be a case of that maybe there's some mismanagement going on.
Yep.
Right?
I think that's very much I think that's very much a possibility.
Or maybe there was mismanagement, and now that Mike O'Brien's taken over, there isn't anymore.
Well, he's trying to fix it, maybe.
Yeah.
That's a tinfoil hat. Maybe you're right.
Right.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point because did Colin leave because this was going to happen? Was this Colin's fault? Who's like it's very we don't know what's going on in the background. Like we have no clue. So, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, on the surface, now that we have this information as well as the information that somebody leaked about, not leaked, but like saw in the conference call with NCSoft quarterly review or something like that, that the HOT sales weren't as high as they predicted, and they're unhappy about that. Even though the GenSource sales are still going strong. That, I mean, that is, I guess, in some ways, a financial failure, right? So that
Nemesis was right.
that would be a reason.
Delusional.
That might be a reason to change the direction of the company.
I think Carnifex kind of has the TLDR. Colin left. Mike looked at the projects and saw Legendaries weren't worth the time invested.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
That honestly could be not only true, but also a
tough
fair
decision.
statement.
Yeah, it's probably pretty close to the mark, I think, and that's a tough decision to make because he knows when he cuts any feature, it's gonna create a shitstorm. He knows. I mean, he knew it was coming, unfortunately. But what can you do, right? It's either I let you 6 people keep working on this, and it's not worth the actual time, or I redirect you and get you to produce more content that the game needs right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not Colin's fault. Who are we kidding? Colin's the best.
I mean, yeah,
Well, the only reason
I
such kind of conspiracies can even exist is because we don't.
this is happening.
Because we don't see the internal innards.
Sure.
I mean, Rim was talking about
But
how
no private
Blizzard
company is really going to do that, though.
to a certain. I mean, to a certain extent, there is more openness in certain other companies. And Rim he did refer to when Blizzard they had people answering just direct questions about Warlords of Draenor. I don't know how true this actually is, but Rim says
Or
it.
D&T ask us anything.
Exactly. So exactly, except with less death and taxes and more Chris Metzen probably. But there are companies that do various things, such as this, and maybe that could be a solution. Just to say, just be really honest about it and just own up and say, yeah, we've encountered problems. We screwed up. We're sorry. I mean, people are going crazy. They want refunds. For Heart of Thorns.
An MMO is an interesting product because, private companies only have to respond to their board of directors, really, or their shareholders. And in this case, actually, that's a public company. But anyway, in this case, are all MMO players of that MMO in some small way shareholders of this company?
I don't know about that.
I think ArenaNet should go public, and I'll try to pull some strings, and I'll buy 51% of the stock. Then I can fix the game.
Wow.
51%.
Brazil for game director.
We're deleting everything but raids.
I also
I'd play it. Fuck it, I'd play it.
I also don't like if let's say you're talking about Colin staying or leaving. If Colin stays, I don't think this decision is any different. I think this still happens regardless.
Very likely.
I think people would have probably wanted to cannibalize him if he stayed and made the announcement.
Jeez, cannibalize.
I think they would turn on him. He may be a living meme, but I think they would turn on him. Honestly, well,
Crowist got the right word instead of shareholders, it's stakeholders. Stakeholders.
Yeah, ready to stake him in the chest. Yeah, you're right.
I should link my newest Photoshop in stream chat.
Okay, do it. Here we go.
I'm pretty proud of that one.
That's actually pretty harsh.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
I don't really like that set either. I don't like a lot of gem store stuff. Actually,
Very Fallout.
They should turn on
I
him
actually
since he
do.
fucked up the game.
Yeah.
At least he didn't fuck up his guild.
Why is this
So,
all Canadian
anyways.
dollars? Why is it the
Oh,
old
the
$5
ex-
Canadian bill?
It's an exchange rate joke.
wow, that was some that. Yeah, that wow. Okay. I don't know. We don't know. We have no idea what Colin did. Maybe Colin was the smile guy. He was just I will fool them all. And he was actually more like the kind of caricature that Brazil created of him, with the massive neck. You know, that was him the entire time.
With the ears.
Exactly. Yeah.
Probably have that one too.
You know, I don't know. We don't know. But you know, we really shouldn't be putting our tinfoil hats out on this because we can't even begin to speculate on this. We don't have any idea, honestly. Who knows the internal workings of ArenaNet? Who can fathom the mind of ArenaNet? Maybe not even they can. Ellie giggle. Yeah, for the watch. Burn the. Yeah, there it is. Exactly. We just don't know. But yeah. Feels
Do we
bad,
think
man.
the devs are disconnected from the audience?
No.
Not all of them.
No. Yeah, not all of them. Certainly not. all of them.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I'd say they're very, very connected to the audience.
I would even say that someone like Mike, who is the president and now temporary game director, I don't even think he's that disconnected. I think they're very well aware of the mistakes that are happening and the kind of shitstorm and drama that this has caused. I don't think they're totally oblivious to that. Obviously not. But yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. That pretty much defines it for me. It is a shame. It is unfortunate that we're even in this situation discussing this right now. I mean, maybe in another multiverse, another copy of reality, we're actually going, wow, guys, these legendary weapons are awesome. And then, and there they are. Wow, imagine that. And Living Story 3 is already out. So, wow, holy shit, they developed. But we're in the kind of the slightly unfortunate multiverse, or parallel universe. We're having a
Good
bad
question.
time. Wait, you have a
If
question?
ANET announced a second expansion by the end of the year, would you buy that expansion and trust Guild Wars 2 with promised features and content? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd buy it.
I would buy it solely from a content creator standpoint.
Wow.
If I was not a YouTube video maker, or if I didn't have any, I don't know, if I didn't do that for other people, I would not buy it.
I would buy it, but I would be a lot more wary this time about what we know about the game, or at least maybe do a better job of getting more straight answers about some of the features and content that were going to be included in that. For example, I went on many videos on my channel and I preached about 3 biomes. Okay, guys, we're only getting 4 maps. I know that's a little small. I expected 5 or 6, but we're only getting 4. But 3 biomes, guys. Every map's going to have 3 biomes. That was a blatant lie on my part. I assumed that they meant 3 bios for each map, and that just isn't true for any of them, right? This 3D playable space and all these biomes just
Not
don't,
true, especially not for Dragon's
doesn't,
Den.
right, doesn't exist for most
yeah.
of the maps. Some of them have 2 biomes.
Sure.
Some of them have 1. None of them have all 3 really.
With Tangled Depths, you could kind of make that argument because you've got the surface level,
Sort
you've
of,
got the
sort of.
tunnels, and then you've got the Chak
And the
hives
deep, dark
and stuff.
fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, deep dark fantasies.
And
But-
with the Verdant Brink,
Yep.
you have the canopy, you have the normal stuff, and then you have death at the bottom.
Yeah, they could have made 3 layers out of Verdant Brink, but it's really only 2, really.
I mean, realistically, they probably were going to, but just like that 4th lane in Dragon's Den, which you can clearly see if you look at the map, or the Nightmare Court Duchess, who has no backstory at all, they probably just had to cut it out or something. Like, it's just for whatever reason, we don't have time
But
to do it.
I think we
We
should
started developing it in 2013, but we have to suspend it indefinitely.
I think
So-
criticizing the maps is a little bit kind of because I mean, in a lot of ways, the maps actually delivered what people wanted. I really like the maps.
Grindy meta events that require too much currency for anything.
People said we like silver wastes, we like dry
And you're
top.
on a timer.
And then look, what do we have? What do we have? We have 4 copies of, well, not copies of, but similar style Verdant Brink Silver Waste. Dry top Silver Waste. It's
I really
pretty similar in that respect.
have that much of a problem with any of the maps. I think some of them are more fun than others. I think the time between events is way too long, especially in Tangled Depths.
Definitely.
2 hours between Chalk Jarrets? No.
But hopefully that's what April is supposed to sort of address or at least look at. My problem with some of the maps is what's part of the original joy of Guild Wars 2 for me, for a good deal of people, is the exploration of the world. Finding the hidden strawberry grove, finding the hidden cat room, the turkey room, going through those little tunnels that lead you to different parts of the maps that sometimes have cool little tidbits at the end, but are sometimes just a cool little passageway. Finding that Char that if you fix his car, he gives you
a bandana.
A bandana for his head. That's what I loved about the original Guild Wars 2. And Heart of Thorns has almost none of that, or very little. There's a little bit here and there. There's little bit of exploration here and there, but a lot of that is kind of missing from those Heart of Thorns maps, unfortunately. For me, anyway.
Most of it's just functional. Right? Almost all of it's there for a reason, other than to be enjoyed, right? Because I mean, almost.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I totally see that as a problem though. Actually, no, I kind of do. Actually, I'm not sure about that one. Actually, I have to think about that.
Yeah, I enjoyed a lot though.
So for me,
Overall.
the maps kind of miss on that front. The exploration part is not quite what I had hoped for or expected.
They've specifically said there's stuff in Lion's Arch that people have not found and probably never will find. Like they've said that publicly. I would find out. I'll go and see if I can find that now. It's probably buried in Reddit. I probably won't be able to find it, but I'll see if I can.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so the maps aren't like the worst thing in the world for me, but I don't know. I expected, I had hoped for more exploration than what it contains.
Okay. I don't know. They're pretty big maps, and they have quite a few layers. Map-wise, layers.
Shrek, onions.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like map-wise, they are more intricate than any individual map in the core game.
Definitely, easily.
Yeah.
That's
So map-wise, they're better than I thought they would be. I do not like the fact that it's all sort of a jungle, but what are you going to do with a jungle expansion?
Yeah, that doesn't really bother me as much.
You'll get a different one in the next expansion.
Yeah, Crystal Desert.
It'll be desert all the time.
Yeah, no, they can't do that. But there'd be an oasis.
The next expansion, Black Desert Online.
Crystal Desert Online. Yeah. CDO.
Yeah. Wow.
The stores near you, $50.
I want Cantha. Who are we kidding?
You're not getting Cantha.
I want Cantha.
No.
You're not getting Cantha.
Maybe not in Guild Wars 2, Boots. Maybe we'll have to wait till Guild Wars 3.
Guild Wars 3 is Cantha based.
Yeah. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Can continue the story. This time we actually made a new game engine. This is an amusing situation. Guild Wars 3 is never gonna happen. If they use the same engine, it won't.
Yeah, no, but Guild Wars 3 is not going to happen. Who are we kidding? Why would it?
If Guild Wars 3 happens, I hope they've at least learned something, like along the way, like make things.
Why would
so that
they
can
make
be
Guild Wars 3?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't think they will.
They're not even making Guild Wars 2 anymore at this point, so
Harsh.
No, but there's just no reason to make a Guild Wars 3. There's just no reason.
No.
Yeah. I don't know.
Guild Wars 3 would take them how many years? Let's say they started today. 6 years, 7 years?
Probably.
Yeah. Maybe the only reason to make Guild Wars 3 would be if they literally have no possible way of getting off of DirectX 9. Because then they're like, fine, eventually they'll have outdated graphics in 5 years or something like that, 4 years. But until then...
Guild Wars 3 will be a Kickstart project.
We used Amazon's new game engine. Well,
Guild Wars 2 will be around for a very long time yet. They're not going to switch off to Guild Wars 3 anytime soon.
We'll see about that.
I don't want to say his name, but Warm, you're saying, of course they'll make Guild Wars 3. Do you even know how much money they made off of the other two? Yeah, I do. And they're going to continue to make money off of Guild Wars 2 without having to stop
Every
Guild
Tuesday.
Wars 2 and make it Guild Wars 3.
Every Tuesday they print new money.
Yeah. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to add any content to the game. They just add more gliders and
You
more
know
outfits.
why they keep having sales on like instant repair canisters and speed boosters? That's because the 95% of the game who run around in the open world for 15 minutes a week, they log in and they say, "Oh, that's not very expensive. Yeah, I can spend $10," and they do that every Tuesday.
Sure.
Yeah.
not?
So
That
You
is
can afford it.
that's the beauty of the audience. I
Yep,
don't really have a
exactly.
problem with that. But
Like,
do you
I
is
don't
that
care.
is that what's led to the complacency? Then you think, Brazil?
yeah, totally. Whenever I saw the comments that at least the new legendaries won't get in the way of the new Black Lion skins, like I was just like, you're completely right. Like every
No, that's nothing to do with
the
it.
tiny piece of like delusion that I had in my eye just fell out at that point. It was like I was Paul on the road and God appeared to me and knocked the scales out of my eye. Paul on the Brazil on the road to Damascus.
It's like
So-
it's like fractals, isn't it? It's like you say. There's always the potential, right? There's always the potential they could add more to fractals, but someone came along and took away the potential from the legendary weapons. So now you don't have the fractal effect. Well, it's like, we can add to that. It's, guys, we can always add more to it, right? It's infinitely expandable. PogChamp. But now they've not said that. In fact, they've said the opposite of that. They've said, no, we are indefinitely suspending, which people immediately said means cancelled, which I suppose it maybe does? I don't know. And
It's not canceled. Indefinitely suspended means suspended with no timetable to return. So it's gonna cut. They're gonna make new legendaries, but this year probably
Yeah,
not.
but we'll have to pay for them in the next expansion.
No,
Again.
come on. They're not gonna do that. Brazil, they're not gonna do that.
That would feel bad.
No, I don't.
That would be bad.
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
If
know.
they did
You're
that, they would not
If
look
you
good after
can't-
that. They
you
would look
can't
pretty
But
say
bad.
sorry.
that.
I say that they're not gonna do that, but maybe they will come out just before or just after the next expansion comes out, but they're not going to write in the PR for the next expansion with new legendary weapons. They're not going to do that.
They totally should.
I mean, maybe not. But if they come out in the expansion and they require gift of the underwater dragon, then oh man, it's a
not
good
gonna
thing
happen.
it was a gift of the underwater dragon because your ship is going to meet it right now. So
No, that's
I don't know.
You got to give them some credit. Come on.
No,
That's like-
I don't. I don't. I'll give them credit for the things that they've done that were good so far. I will not ever again give them credit for anything that is coming in the future that we can only speculate on, because that was a mistake that I and all of you have made too many times.
Yeah,
Okay.
we were delusional. Mimesis was right. God damn it. Feels bad, man. Oh well.
It's like every day we look at the Romanian in his bat cave with his shitty wallpaper on his apartment, and it's like,
Wow.
God damn, how right was this guy? So I don't
Vape
know.
Nation. Vape Nation.
You know, it's funny, but I do think that we could see new legendary weapons in another expansion. And
Not before this set come out.
No, they can't do that. There's
They
no way,
cannot do
right?
that. It's literally impossible for them to do that.
it's impossible to
They
release
might
new
be-
legendaries before they finish the set.
It's
For Heart of
impossible
Thorns?
to say that there's going to be an entirely new set in a new expansion that you have to
Oh
pay
no,
for.
no,
Without...
not an entirely new set. They'll just continue work on the set they already started.
Yeah, for sure they can, but they're not going to tie it to a new expansion.
Tie it to and being inside of. I don't know.
No, that's tied to.
when's it going to
I could-
happen? Because
Look,
the next expansion
if the next expansion is in like 2 years, let's say, maybe a year and a half,
probably less. Okay.
fine. Maybe not all the legendaries come out before then, but
Okay.
the legendaries that come out after the expansion gets released are not going to need things from the new expansion.
Oh no! I didn't say that. I didn't say they would.
Okay. Brazil was saying maybe they would.
Yeah, I don't know whether they would or wouldn't, but I do think that I don't discount the fact that they could totally use that as a selling point. They totally shouldn't. But if there's going to be new legendary, let's say they do an interview with somebody and somebody says, "So legendary weapons," just like they do the Cantha thing, right? And Mike O'Brien's like, "Yeah, you're going to have some legendary weapons in the new expansion." You don't think that could happen?
Oh yeah, for sure that could happen.
Check out our
But-
blog post from
but not-
2013. We're gonna have some new legendary weapons.
No, for sure they could actually add new legendary weapons, but they're not gonna rely on the legendaries that they haven't released from HOT to sell the new expansion.
No, I don't think that.
No.
Not that way. Not in that way.
No, that'd just be... No.
That would be idiotic, and that's not going to happen
No,
because
I don't-
ArenaNet isn't idiotic. It's secretive, it's disappointing sometimes,
True.
but they're not idiotic.
No. I think you're right there. If they did that, I mean... I can't even imagine the Ribbit shitstorm. It would be all-encompassing. The amount of upvotes. You know what? It would be nearly as highly upvoted as the top post of all time on the Guild Wars 2 subreddit. Don't pre-order Heart of Thorns. It would be nearly as upvoted as that.
That's.
You guys
I mean,
remember I
that's
made
gonna
a
happen
video
again.
about that, and that is still my most liked video, and it's not even public anymore. My second most liked video is the one that I uploaded the other day about the canceled legendaries.
I started to make one and I stopped. I'll make that eventually, but I figured I would wait for tea time first. And then
I'll tell you guys
do
some
it.
behind the scenes too. I had the past week I had been working on a video about why I'm still playing Guild Wars 2. And it involved topics like other people are quitting, like Seshi, and people don't log in anymore for dailies and whatever, and why I still play the game, because for some reason, even though all this bad stuff's happening, I still like it. And Guild Wars 2 is still kind of magical. And I uploaded it on Thursday night, and I was rewatching it, and I thought I could really do a better job on this. So I deleted it, and then I redid it on Thursday. I uploaded it, and I was going to make it public on Friday, and then boom, we're canceling legendaries. And I can't make that video anymore. It's forever buried because
You should release a video of you deleting the files of that video.
You're not, and Matt, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. We're complaining a lot here, Reddit, forums, etc. It means we still care.
Yeah.
Arena doesn't need to worry that you're going to leave necessarily. Yeah, I mean, I don't plan on leaving Guild Wars 2 anytime soon. Do I play it less now than I did 6 months ago? Sure, but I'm not going to leave the game. I have no reason to.
Yeah. I still love
I
the game.
actually play the game more now than I probably did 6 months ago. Well, 6 months ago is when the expansion came out, so maybe like 8 months ago to a year. Like, I'm constantly raiding and like working on spending more time on videos and stuff now. So I'm doing more, even though I guess there's less to do, and that I've already done everything that there was to do. So, I don't know. Like...
I think I should play more as well. That's mainly because of raids.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, raids are something you can put a lot of time in and just Literally,
I'm on,
yeah. Like, the
I'm
only
on
reason
detox.
Rex. Yeah. You're on
I'm on
detox.
detox for 2 weeks or so because of the like 3 weeks straight that I played like almost nonstop because I was trying to get the runes of leadership. I was just yeah, it was too much.
Awesome. I'll take Bootspur's spot.
Done.
Just slot me in.
I think a big part of it, of why people
Oh,
don't
no, I'm
quit,
not
is
on-
because they have
okay.
friends within the
Guild
game,
Wars 2 in
right?
general, talking about.
I mean, people will stay with Guild Wars 2 because they are part of a certain community.
That was a
And they'll
very
just-
big part of my video too. Yeah.
I mean, people like to, stay with people who they're familiar with and do things that they enjoy. I mean, it's, in a lot of cases, people are barely even paying attention to Guild Wars 2. They're just having fun with friends, right?
Sure.
Especially in the more casual aspects of it. They're not, they're running around doing, I don't know, open world events or something, or just unranked PvP. They're barely even paying attention, and that's fine. In fact, that's the best part about Guild Wars 2, and a lot of games actually, a lot of online games are like this. You're just going around, you're having fun. It's about a community.
If you look at people's posts on the forums of Reddit on why they're leaving the game or why they stopped playing either recently or months ago, one of the bullet points in their reasoning is always my friends stopped playing. So when your community stops playing or your friends stop playing, then eventually you're going to stop if you don't find a new community. So that's the way most games are, multiplayer games anyway, MMOs especially. I stopped playing World of Warcraft because my raiding guild and my friends stopped playing, basically.
I see a lot of I'm leaving the game on Reddit. I also, when things like pick up again, I see a lot of I'm starting to play the game again. What did I miss, or what do I have to expect? I wonder if I want to look at the history of some of these posts and see if it's the same people saying I'm leaving and saying I'm coming back.
Some people it will be 100%, because again, that is ArenaNet's trump card. Donald Trump card. That's their Donald Trump card, okay? Because you can just rage quit the game, go fuck this shit, I'm out. And if you come back in a year's time, they'll probably have done something by then. Maybe. There's a good chance they'll have done something for you to come back and enjoy. And then you say, oh, actually, that's a pretty nice outfit on the gem store. While I'm here, I'm having fun again.
They've been doing well all along. They must have been.
Sure.
Must be.
Yeah. That is a little bit cynical. Wait, what's this? Salt isn't an elitist guild? Nah, Salt is a massive elitist guild, and you know that.
It's a good pasta.
Yeah, they kicked me out of Group A.
Yeah.
I need to put that into the document.
Ooh. Bet most people here talk but don't walk. While Salt isn't an elitist guild, we trust Nita to accomplish a task. Unlike you role-player guilds who just pretend to be friends with each other and can't take critics and just leave after 3 attempts. Get good before talking shit about other guilds for being casual. Peace, clowns. I think that's actually Meltandriel's comment from Reddit on the Reddit thread, because people were arguing over whether Salt was casual or not.
Yeah.
People are talking about World versus World.
What's that? What?
It's a shame. It's a shame.
What's
It's a
World
mess.
versus World?
It's been a mess for a long. The other thing, World vs. World's been a mess for a long time. Heart of Thorns didn't do anything to improve the mess, unfortunately, and we're waiting for the World vs. World update or series of updates to hopefully address some of the issues.
Hopefully we get some news about that. It's after the April patch. They said they were going to start doing beta testing, right?
Right, getting the World vs. World people in there, I guess, to beta test.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder
Whatever.
what it is that they're going to be beta testing. It's got to be some significant changes if they have to beta test them.
Well, I mean, it all needs serious beta testing. But one of the biggest problems that ArenaNet said that they were trying to tackle and work on was population imbalance. How they plan to fix that exactly?
Mega servers.
Super awesome mega servers.
Taxi Wars 2.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Imagine if you had to taxi into
Oh.
into your World versus World servers.
They did early on, right? I
It's-
mean, that was one of the big complaints. You
That
couldn't get
wasn't
on.
taxi though. That was just queuing.
Wasn't taxi, it was queuing, right? But
It's-
you couldn't get on the same map as your friends, and yeah.
Yeah.
It's bad enough trying to get into Tangled Depths map that actually is going to succeed. Although actually you just have to get there early, but that's annoying. And again, whatever. First world Tyrian problems, am I right?
Exactly. That's
Can't
I
leech
created that
events.
hashtag.
Actually have... Wait, is that an actual hashtag?
No, not that one. I created first living world problems.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll give you 9 out of 10 for that one, Boots.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let's get some
I'll go
clapping.
further. I'll give him a
9 out of 11? Yeah, I can saw that one coming. But that's worse. You giving him, he's got, what, a little bit less, nearly 2% less, kind of.
Well, he doesn't deserve that much. He's unemployed.
No.
Oh, there you go.
Are you still? I don't know.
Yeah, I got a problem because my fiance is finishing up her PhD and is her job market is not in my city, so we might have to move soon. And so in other words, moving somewhere. So I gotta, if I find a job, it's not gonna be here, so I have to find it somewhere else. Yeah. So, and I don't know where that is yet, so that's the other problem.
Well, congrats to her. PhD
If you
is a
wanna-
shit ton of work.
If you want to come to Dallas and get into fights with me, come on.
Sweet, yeah. I have glasses, so you even though you really want to punch me in the nose, you're not allowed to.
I wouldn't, because I have glasses too.
Okay, good.
Would you avoid them? Kind of, bam, right to the forehead.
You don't. I mean,
To
if you're
avoid the
gonna get
glasses,
into
though.
If you're gonna get into a fight with someone, you punch them here or you punch them here, really hard.
But if you kind of get them in the nose, that might break the glasses, though.
Yeah, nose is ideal. I mean, you can punch them here, but if you hit them hard enough, they'll die. So
Jesus.
that's like a desperate. That's like if
The
4
desperation
people approach
move.
you with knives.
Wow.
You hit someone in the throat and they drop, and then the other people probably go away. So
Wow.
that's what happens when you grow up in Dallas.
Do you guys remember what Brazil suggested for if there's somebody in your house robbing you with a gun?
I mean, you can let them rob you, or you can show that you're not afraid, and you can get up and I mean, if they have a gun and they didn't shoot you, they're not going to shoot you.
I mean, you could just take my stuff. It's fine.
I'm not going to let someone take my stuff.
But
I have insurance. You can take my stuff. I don't give a shit.
if you rush them with the gun, they might just shoot you, though.
They will just shoot you.
If they haven't shot you and they have a gun pointed at you, they're not going to shoot you. Someone who is actually going to shoot you is going to shoot you. They're not going to
They
give you
might
a
panic.
chance to do
You might
anything.
scare them and then
Yeah,
accidentally.
exactly.
I mean, yeah, well then you get shot, whatever, just deal with it.
Walk it off.
Walk it off.
yourself
Ah,
out,
you
mate.
beat me. You beat me to it. The shame.
Respawn.
Yeah. Just waypoint. Fuck's sake.
It's waypoint. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have insurance. Just take my shit. It's crap anyway. You can just
Okay,
fucking
important
have it.
question, guys. Important question. We see in Lion's Arch the different NPCs going around Lion's Arch and using waypoints, correct?
What?
What?
NPCs in Lion's Arch use
Yes,
waypoints.
Yes, they
Right?
do. Yeah, and portals. Yep.
So then why the hell, since NPCs could use waypoints, are we worried about all these characters dying?
It's role playing.
They could use waypoints.
Role playing.
All right, fine.
They
That's
aren't
why.
flagged as essential.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, just maybe she doesn't have enough money. The Mordred took all the money, so she can't wait. Even though, let's just forget the fact that it actually allows you to waypoint to the closest waypoint for free. Ignore that fact. But the Mordred, they took all our money. 0 copper. Can't do shit.
That's probably it. Yeah.
It's over. It's over. And it's in a raid because
Evan
you can't
Nashblood.
you can't
Evan
res people in
Nashblood
combat
tax.
there. There you go. We did
And then
it.
takes all their money.
We solved
I
it.
gotta leave soon. I'm going up north for Easter, but
All right,
what?
go to hell.
But I'm holding the call is the problem. So
Oh, that is actually a problem.
Oh, that's a problem.
So do you guys want to start taking questions and wrap up in like 15 minutes or something?
That sounds
Sure.
fine.
That's pretty
Okay.
sensible. Ask
Alright.
us some questions, guys. They better be good.
Mm-hmm. I didn't get to do my gaming stream at the same time because this was an enrapturing conversation. Enrapturing. I don't think that's the right word for this.
No.
Is that even a word?
Encapsulating? No, that's they're yeah, I think they're both words, but encapsulating is definitely not the right word. Okay. Enrapturing.
Do any of you have bunny ears? I don't have bunny ears.
Intense pleasure.
Bill's had it
or
forever.
joy to-
All of his
What?
characters have bunny ears. And yes, I have bunny ears.
Air
did
spent
not
all
play
her money on alimony for Bram. And therefore has to stay dead. Feels bad, man. Do you guys think SAB will be back this April just to please the community? I'm not
yes,
sure.
I do.
I think there's a very good chance it will come back.
I think there's a good chance it'll come back, but it might not have a new world, and that'll still anger some people.
Oh yeah, fun fact: Air spent all her money on alimony for Bram, and therefore has to stay dead. Can't waypoint.
PvP system broken as fuck. Class balance is shit. What would you do?
Amber is the only one where you don't lose pips. Everything else is the same as Ruby from then on.
You should just cut half that shit out and
Job
start-
done. You have Amber as easy mode, and then
Ruby.
Sapphire is literally just the same. It's Sapphire to Legend is just the same. You have to have 50-50 win rate, because right now, Ruby is a massive clusterfuck. And by that I mean the skill disparity is ridiculous, because you have people who just slowly grind there, and then you have people who just kind of whoosh through it, and then you because you don't need 50% win rate, so everyone eventually gets to Ruby. Eventually you get lucky, you get lucky, you get those... You get,
Play enough, you get to Ruby.
Yeah, you get to Ruby, you eventually get there, and then you're into the pit of filth.
I think I got from all the way through. I'm only in Sapphire right now because I haven't played in, like I said, 2-3 weeks. But I got all the way through Emerald without losing a game. So I think that at the time I played, probably there weren't very good players in Emerald at the time. I was just kind of mowing through it. So you're saying Ruby's where it gets really bad? Or is there still going to be bad players there, so it's going to be easy?
Well, the point is that Ruby will be filled with this wide range of mixed players, because everybody, if you play enough, gets to Ruby eventually.
Okay. And so wait, after... Oh, because then you could go down tiers, so you might never make it to tier 3.
You might never make it to Diamond because you don't belong in Diamond, but
Yeah, fair enough.
people who do belong in Diamond are going to have to put up with people who don't actually belong there in Ruby, because the system allows them to get there by just playing enough. So then you get this wide mix of players of some are good, some are terrible, some are bad, whatever.
Okay, so I'm not looking forward to that. That doesn't sound like fun. Okay, there's a question here. Do you guys think SAB will be back this April, just to please the community?
No, we answered that.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
That.
Okay, will you do Ultimate Clown Fiesta Raid Run with Deroyer?
If he's up for that, but he's a busy man. He's busy doing things, killing bosses, memeing.
I would love to have Droyer carry me through
yeah,
raids.
But, maybe one day we can have the ultimate meme raid. Just as many streamers and YouTube personalities as we can fit, which is 10. So, I don't know, it could happen.
Is Brazil currently getting a Yu-Gi-Oh card ready to show the stream because he read a comment from Meltandriel?
I already did. I showed
okay.
off my tuners for my Blue Eyes deck.
Okay, I'm trying
Sage Knight and Priestess and Maiden.
I do not hate salt. I need to get off my ass and raid more with salt. This past week was really bad for me.
But yeah, just to kind of clarify a little bit, I actually think the PvP system, the PvP rank system, actually pretty solid. For Guild Wars 2, I think it's a good fit. But I think there are some improvements that can be made to it. I didn't manage to actually get that in. I actually really like the way the system works, the kind of Hearthstone-esque system. It's perfect for the pseudo-casual audience. Wait, no? What do you mean? You don't like it? You don't like pips?
Hearthstone-esque system?
Yeah, it's incredibly similar to Hearthstone. With win streaks and how it works with the
That must
ranking.
be why I hate PvP then.
Oh. In fact, it's almost...
He's talking about the pip and the rank up system.
Yeah. I think it's good. I want to follow all you guys, but I don't know your actual Steam names. What?
Stream.
Stream names.
Stream names.
Ah, yeah. Well, they're actually linked below here, so that is not
Oh.
going to be a problem for you.
I
Yes.
have 3 or 4 legendaries. I don't remember. I have Predator, Frostfang, Twilight, and Sunrise.
I have 3.
Brazil's legendaries are way more impressive. What are teapots?
I got Incinerator, Bifrost, and Howler. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, like their legendaries are far more. Boots, do you have any legendaries?
Yeah, I got what's it called? The Scepter. That's the first one I got. Meteorologicus. And I have the Warhorn, Rodgort.
Howler. Oh, Rod. That's Torch.
The Torch.
Torch, Rodgort. Yeah.
So I have the ultimate clown pistol quip, Rodgort,
Clown
and
Fiesta.
Twilight. Yeah, I'm actually behind. I usually make a legendary a year. Need to make another one.
Would I make a Guild Wars 2 series with my fiance? Say like my Minecraft series? Maybe I'd put I may bring her into the Guild Wars 2 series that I'm currently doing with Slaylock at some point, but probably not a new one because there's not much to, it's what are you gonna do as a Guild Wars 2 series? You can't really do Let's Play Guild Wars 2 that much, right?
That's kind of true.
Yeah. So I mean that's why I did Let's
teach her the
Roleplay through the storyline with Slaylock. That's fun, but she plays the game. I don't have to teach her the game.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
she could pretend she doesn't know how to play the game. I could teach her the game.
Yeah, good idea. Or I can teach her PvP. That would be something. That would be something special.
That would be. Well, even better, you have to come up with a fun gimmick.
Yeah.
Like you and Wooden Potatoes role-playing as one body.
We could do that, like, on the same keyboard.
There you go.
Like a duet. Guild Wars 2 duet. On the same keyboard. That'd actually be good. He should do that.
You have to have the camera on the keyboard so you can see your
exactly.
fingers like pressing the buttons.
If raids weren't a thing, would you be playing every day?
Yes, because I don't raid every day.
I would be logging. Oh, he's actually rage quit.
I don't play every day.
I'd be logging in every day just to get dailies because I have to. But the thing is, once I am actually capped on dailies, I'll probably stop caring a lot, actually. But no, I mean, I actually do play. I play a decent amount. Oh, look! Brazil merchandise!
What?
Holy shit.
I have to show off some of my stuff since they have someone who plays Yu-Gi-Oh in here.
Oh,
there's the Dark Magician Girl page that's worth like $400 now. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And then I have 5 Exodia sets. There's the waifu page that no one will ever see. Here are all the tunes with original Magic Ruler cards that say Magic card that are first edition. All of the Game Boy game promos over a few pages. It's fun stuff. Where are my Exodias? Here. One even has my face on it. That's
cool. Look at that.
That's pretty cool.
It's funny.
Yeah.
All right, this is the last page.
Wow.
And then I'll shut up about Yu-Gi-Oh.
What happens to the stream if Guild Wars 2 dies? Guild Wars 2 is not going to die for at least another 3 years. So by then, we'll all hate each other and never talk to each other.
Yeah.
Oh, the stream just died.
Oh, really?
Oh.
But it says we're still streaming. It wasn't a source button, It wasn't a source button, was it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It'd be hilarious if it died as I was saying, what happens to this stream if Guild Wars 2 dies?
What happened? What happens to the stream?
People are just saying refresh.
Yeah. It depends. It really does depend. If they shut the game down, I'm assuming that's kind of what you mean, Brobo, is that you mean that, we're sorry guys, the game is shut down. That's not going to happen, but if we're supposing that actually happened, then I would probably play a lot of StarCraft 2.
I guess maybe he could also mean, he or she could also mean like if we all just stop playing Guild Wars 2.
If I stop playing, would I find another MMO? I'm not sure if I would actually.
I probably wouldn't find another MMO unless they come out with a really good new one. Because none of the ones out currently, I'm not interested in any of them.
Yeah,
I teach Inks Minecraft, and we'd have fun.
We'd buy an island for
Yeah.
Brazil and Nemesis to come visit us.
Exactly.
Oh shit.
So what about you, Brazil? In the far future, the dark future, Guild Wars 2 is truly dead game. What becomes of Brazil in that future?
I'm gonna buy a Saga 12. I'm gonna put a drum magazine on it. I'm gonna put a bump fire stock on it, and I'm gonna go live in the woods and shoot shit.
All right.
I'm gonna plow the land. I'm gonna
Shoot-
go
A lot
fishing.
of
bushes.
woods in Dallas.
I'm going to revert to the stuff I was doing before I got into video games. Before I found video games, I was constantly outdoors, camping, fishing, doing all kinds of shit. And then I discovered that I could just sit indoors and play video games all day and that it was easy. That's what I did. So,
Mm-hmm.
no.
What
I
needs to
kind of
be?
want to.
Oh my
I
god!
want to have guns again. I like guns.
But you can have a gun though, right now.
Yeah, I live in Texas.
Exactly.
Anyone can have a gun.
Yeah.
They all have guns.
Yeah.
I went skeet
let's see.
shooting for a bachelor party. It was pretty good.
Wow.
It's fun. Yeah.
What needs
Fun
to be in
times.
Living Story 3 to satisfy you guys? For me, it has to be meaningful character development. I think it has to. For me, it has to be a solid amount of content. Honestly, it's borderline. The most important thing for me may actually be that it needs to actually last instead of going for about 3 seconds. It has to be something that's actually you can get your teeth into, rather than I can just do in a few hours.
I wanna agree with what my character is saying.
I really dislike the speech thing. It triggers me a lot actually.
The whole Traherne thing. You have to kill me, Commander. Sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Get the axe and I'll just cut you. And the Commander's like, no, Traherne, we need to save. No, we don't need to. Shut up. We don't need to save him. Kill him.
It's not only that. It's just like almost. While I'm editing my series, I'm realizing that almost everything the commander says to people and the choices that he makes are like the opposite of what I would do. Just terrible things that he's saying, terrible ideas. Most of it's like his responses to everything Kanak is saying. It's like, Kanak, I'm watching you because you're a threat.
Yeah.
And I hate you.
Oh, I hated that so much.
You're such a dick face.
Ooh, I did not like that at all. That was such bullshit.
Stop. Kanak's awesome.
Yeah, my
Like,
character would never do that
every
shit.
single thing Kanak says
Is
you question
awesome.
him. And same thing with Kaith. Like,
Oh.
Kaith is obviously doing something mysterious with the egg.
and we're being
And then
assholes.
it's like returning it to you, and you're
Yeah.
still being an
But
asshole.
yeah, it's
Hunting her down. Hunting her down.
I
No,
don't even
I-
know how to spell Kaith
Holy
anymore.
shit.
Meanwhile, you're giving what's his name, the Sylvari lieutenant you see in the first episode, who you decide to whether or not to save his friends or not. You give him you give him free reign with snipers to go wherever the hell they want without
Yep.
any supervision.
Seems legit.
But your close friend, Sylvaris,
Not trustworthy.
not trustworthy. And even if you are Sylvari, you're doing the same thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't mind the story in Living World Season 2, so I'd like to see that, but more of it. I would love to see character development, but I think they have too many characters, so they'll have to really focus on one, like they sort of did with Kanak a little bit, to really get any kind of meaningful development, I think. And some actual payoff. I want some payoff in the story, because there wasn't... I don't really felt like... I don't know. I didn't get a ton of payoff.
I honestly don't even want a story anymore.
I do. I definitely do.
I just
Regardless.
don't-
Regardless of how good or bad, people perceive it to be, I still want a story.
Yeah. No,
Definitely.
I think it's going to be good.
It
I think
needs-
it's going to be better than the other ones. I honestly think it's going to be better than what we've had so far.
Still a little
yeah,
upset about
totally.
Malik.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll bring him back in some way or another, but it's kind of old.
now
hat
that
now.
Mordramoth is dead, Malik and his army comes running up. We're here to help.
Well, maybe he might show up and be like, "We were under Mortimer's control and we're fine now. Thanks for that." Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame we didn't run into him.
Yeah.
When you kill Traherne, you find out that it was just Malik wearing a Traherne mask the whole time, and
Whoa.
you feel bad.
Oh. So Traherne's actually alive.
Traherne's actually fine. Hey, I'm over here, Commander.
Oh my God, no.
Thank you. I took down Mordramoth. I allowed you to go into the raid. It was me, actually, after all. You did nothing.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks for backing me up, Commander.
That would not be good. What do you think of the? I think I'm going to pronounce N'Zoth wrong. I think it's not actually pronounced like that. But what do you think of the card for Hearthstone? Well, it resummons all the Death Rattle minions. I actually don't really like it that much. It's nowhere near as good as Cthulhu. There you go.
Why do you know about Hearthstone?
I like looking at the cards. I don't actually play. Oh.
Okay.
What?
That's not.
Brazil's very disappointed in you right now.
It's just Forsen stream is just. I really like watching streamers get angry, and Hearthstone is the best place to find that, honestly. Because there are some people who actually hate the game. For example, Reynad, Forsen, they genuinely despise playing Hearthstone, and that just makes me happy to watch that.
And they keep playing.
Yeah, because of the money. It's pretty good.
There's money?
For them.
Yeah.
Not for you. For them.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, people will do almost anything on stream to make money. That's true for every streamer that actually makes money.
Sure enough. I'm gonna wear bunny ears and clown nose. So I plan to make money and jiggle a cup.
Yeah.
I would do that, and you guys, oh, he did a donation. I'm going to roll this dice across the room and bend over to pick it up. But quite honestly, I'd blind people if I did that. So just fine.
I thought you're missing a key factor there, Brazil. I don't think it would work.
What is it?
You're just look, Brazil. I'm sorry, but we're all disgusting, greasy nerds. We're not hot, sexy grills. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm a hot, sexy girl.
There you
I
go.
don't know what you're talking about, Teapot.
I would make a terrible girl.
Because of the beard?
Ugly as sin, just in general. My whole face.
Oh.
Not attractive at all.
I think I'd make
can...
a pretty girl.
Yeah. I have a sister, so I kind of have a preview of that.
What you would look like if you were female.
Yeah. She's good looking.
I mean, I honestly can't tell what gender you are that you shaved your beard, so...
Yeah.
Brutal. Yeah.
So much face bomb today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of face bomb right now.
Streamers show boobs.
Yeah.
I have too much hair. I can't do it.
Do you think that MO's talk about returning to the manifesto is whole PR bullshit or not? You know what? This is what I think of. This is what I think. Okay, I think they genuinely mean well when they say these things. Whether it will actually happen is another thing entirely.
Right.
I don't think ArenaNet will go, oh yeah, we're gonna say this, we're gonna fool them. I don't think it's malicious. I think they genuinely, when they say we're gonna try and do something, they try and do it, and then maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. And that's my honest opinion on that.
I think they want to return to the roots. I think they really want to do that. I think they need to, but whether they're able to or whether they are going to, I guess we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So I think I gotta go, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's perfect. We're 30 seconds away from 2 hours, so nailed the timing there.
Bam.
We finish off with a question as well. So, thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back. I think I'm actually probably going to stream in BST from now on, otherwise GMT +1 is too late. So there you go. I told everyone. So everyone will be late this week anyway. It doesn't matter.
I don't know what the hell that means. I'll just show up at 2.
Yeah. the clock's changed. I'm now forwards in time. So I'm no longer on GMT. I'm on GMT +1. But you guys did that 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, you're forward in time.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you stream at 7 or 6?
It's gonna be 7 p.m.
Your time.
BST, as in 7 p.m. as an actual time in England.
Yeah.
So,
But
do they have new
still 6 p.m.
legendaries in the future?
Yes, they do.
Awesome.
Legendary insights.
Awesome.
When we kill the raid bosses. Yeah. Oh wait, what, did the stream just die again? Really?
Oh well. Good
Why
timing.
is it doing this? Look, it's not even saying I'm dropping frames. That's absolutely bizarre.
Bye everyone.
That's so weird. I've dropped 0 frames this stream, and it's my upload speed by some miracle of Richard Branson descended and said, "Oh, you shall have a good connection today," and it worked out. But apparently, I don't know. Oh well. Anyway, I guess it is time for us to leave. But
yeah, I think we could all summarize this entire conversation by saying something good's probably going to happen soon, right?
Hopefully.
Well, we get a patch in April.
Yeah, so it's probably amazing.
There's that.
Yeah.
There's that to look forward to, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Disappointing with the whole indefinite suspension of legendaries. Probably the right move internally for the company.
Okay.
Okay.
What a great way to end a full summary of everything that happened.